Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. Before this net begins, I'd like to ask if there's any emergency or priority traffic. If so, please give me a name and call sign now. All right, nothing heard. I'd like to welcome you again to the Thursday Night Net. My name is Jeffrey, KI5MVF. I will be your net control for tonight. This does mean that this is a controlled net, so please refrain from transmitting out of turn. If you'd like to get a chance to get on and chat with us, we will have a section for short-time check-ins soon, and a section for regular check-ins later. In addition to check-ins, we'll have some general class exam questions for you to take a shot at, and also local club announcements and updates. Tonight I'm coming in on the flagship 147.320 N5OAK machine. We have many repeaters connected to our nets, such as this one, and we've got our sister repeater, our sister 2-meter repeater, the 147250 out in Johnson City, and the 441.775 located at UT. All three of those are N5OAK machines with a tone of 114.8. In addition to those, there's quite a few others connected, such as the KA5D system also at UT and many other locations. The AI5A system spread out between UT and South Austin. Looks like we've got a K5JM 220 machine in there as well currently. We've got options for 220, 70 centimeters, 900 megahertz, and of course the flagship 2-meter machine. To learn more about our connections and other ways you can get in, such as AllStar and Echolink, you can head over to our website, n5oak.org. That's what I was reading that list off of, and find our AllStar page. There you can see a list and a bubble map of connected repeaters and all of their relevant information. Again, that is November 5, Oscar Alpha Kilo.org. Once again, this is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. I'm Jeffrey, KI5MVF, and we're about to start short-time check-ins. This is a great time for stations that can't stay for the whole net, stations that are mobile, or stations that just don't think they have much to chat about. If you check in short time and then end up available again later on, or with more to say, you can always recheck into the regular check-in portion later on. If you'd like to check in short time, please give me a name and call sign now. 5 Mike Whiskey Alpha, Oak Hill, formerly known as I'm short time at the moment and no traffic.
This is WA5ERS.
This is Kilo India 6, Hotel Quebec Tango, Ken, no traffic.
This is KI5RXT, Sally in Oak Hill, short time, no traffic.
This is Kilo Golf 5, Uniform November Kilo, Doug. No traffic.
All right, anybody else want to check in short time?
Net Control. This is Rick in Athens, Georgia, WA4 ERS, using EchoLink. Short time check-in. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Rick, can you give me that call sign one more time? I'm sorry, the out-of-town call sign, the WA4 is all I got. Threw me off of our usual K's and N's and 5s. Can you give that to me one more time?
I'm happy to do it. Always fun to explain. My brother is in Austin, Texas. He was WA5 ERS, name's Waters. The FCC won't let us have the T, so we use our region number. So I am WA4 ERS, and Ron is WA5 ERS. So thanks for the check-in. Back to net.
All right, and was that no traffic?
That's affirmative.
Question.
Go ahead, Sammy.
I wanted to say hi to Rick. He's over, I think he's still over in Georgia. I just got back in the car, and he had no traffic, but I want to say hello and that we haven't forgot him.
Net Control permission to talk back to Sammy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Sammy, everything's cool here in Athens, and you're still an open invitation to come over for a music act. Thing back open, and concerts are back on, so bring the truck over if you're out. But it's good to hear you, and I think about you every time I hear the net. All right, thank you. WA4 ERS.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks for checking in, man. We'll be talking to you. N5TXR back to Net Control.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. And WA4 ERS, feel free to check in regular time later on, and we'd all be happy to talk to you, and we're glad to have you here. All right, does anybody else want to check in short time?
This is Kilo Fox 5 Delta Papa X-Ray Mobile.
All right. Net recognizes K5MWA, WA5ERS, KI6HQT, KI5RXT, KG5UNK, WA4ERS, and KF5DVX. Chris, you said mobile, but you didn't say no traffic. You want to come in and tell us what's going on? How you been?
Sure thing. Yeah, I got about 3 minutes before I get to where I'm going. Just talked to Bill and Pat on the CW net. That is great. That's the first time I've had a CW QSO with Bill. That'd be N5SMO, so yay. He could hear me on my measly 10 watts. And other than that, towards the end of the month, I will be activating a pilot knob peak in Kentucky. The associated park with it, that will be, I think, May 11th, and then I think on May 13th or 14th, I'll be down at Mammoth Cave and activating that park. Back to net.
Man, that's good to hear. I always wish I could at least listen in on the CW net. Should probably set up my SDR and see if I can get a decoder going. I don't know CW, and don't have a rig for it either, but it would be a fun way to listen in. Or Kyle's new SDR machine that he put up at UT. And then thanks for shouting out your POTA activation. I know that you tend to also post those on Discord as well, I believe. So if anybody else wants to follow Chris in his POTA activations, along with anybody else that tends to throw them on Discord or anything else that happens on Discord, you can find a link to join our Discord, again, on our website at in5oak.org. Would anybody else like to check in a short time? This is the last call for a short time check-in. All right, nothing heard. Well, we're going to move on over to Rusty, WZ5BBS. He's going to give us some general class exam questions. This segment is to help some technician class operators continue to learn and keep those general and extra class operators fresh. Rusty, WZ5BBS, are you there and ready for us?
I am indeed. Thanks for running the net tonight, sir. Tonight's question is from the general exam pool, and it goes something like this. Which sideband is most commonly used for voice communications on frequencies of 14 megahertz or higher? We'll do that again. Which sideband is most commonly used for voice communications on frequencies of 14 megahertz or higher? Here are the answer choices. Alpha, upper sideband, B, lower sideband, Charlie, vestigial sideband, and Delta, double sideband. We're going to take answers from technicians first, so if you have an idea, come with your call sign and your answer.
Was that answer number C?
Vestigial. They're the extra special sideband. All right, no technicians. We got any generals or extra want to come with your idea? Come with your call sign and answer.
NDS. Bravo.
There was a double there.
AI5KXH. I'm going to go with, I don't know which letter it was, but it was upper sideband.
All right, Mike, KI5KXH, we got you in for Alpha, and I think Rod, W5NDS, was that you?
It was Jeffrey.
All right, sir. What's your answer on this one? We got Alpha for upper sideband, Bravo for lower sideband, Charlie for vestigial sideband, and Delta for double sideband.
Bravo.
All right, Rod goes for Bravo, Mike goes for Alpha. We got anybody else out there wants to try?
TXR.
Yes, sir.
Is it above 1400 or below 1400?
The question is, which sideband is most commonly used for voice communications on frequencies of 14 megahertz or higher?
That would be upper sideband. But I had a cousin one time, distant cousin, had one of them vestigials.
Sounds like a one-time at band camp kind of story. All right. Anybody else want to come with a choice here? Give me your call sign and your answer.
KI5KAT.
Yes, sir.
Upper sideband.
All right, Cat's in for Alpha, upper sideband. Anybody else want to try? Well, let's wrap it up. The correct answer is A, upper sideband. Rod, you got that wrong. You picked lower sideband. Something tells me you meant upper sideband. But congratulations to KI5KXH, N5TXR, and KI5KAT. Let's go over to question number 2 and see how well they do at that. What is the first thing you should do if you're communicating with another amateur station and hear a station in distress break in? We had this happen a couple weeks ago. Is the answer Alpha, continue your communication because you were first on frequency? Bravo, acknowledge the station in distress and determine what assistance may be needed. Charlie, change to a different frequency. Or Delta, immediately cease all transmissions. All right, so let's open this up for technician class. If you're a technician, come with your call sign and answer.
This is KI5UKF, Steve. I would acknowledge the transmission and determine what kind of help was needed.
All right, so that choice is Bravo, so we're going to put you down for Bravo. We'll do the answers again. Alpha is continue your communication because you were on frequency first. Bravo is acknowledge the station in distress and determine what assistance may be needed. Charlie, change to a different frequency. Or Delta, immediately cease all transmissions. All right, we got KI5UKF in the books. Any other technicians want to give it a try? All right, well, let's move on to general and extra. Anybody out there listening, if you want to give this a whirl, come with your call sign and answer.
KI5KXH, my answer is Baker, or Bravo, sorry.
All right, we got Mike down for Bravo. Anybody else?
KT.
NDS for Bravo.
All right, we got you in there, Rod. All right, well, I think there's a trend here. Yeah, Bravo is the answer. You've reclaimed your call sign there, Rod. So what is the first thing you should do if you're communicating with another amateur station and hear a station in distress break in?
Does anybody have any questions or comments or clarifications of the exam question? If so, please give me a call sign. All right, nothing heard. I don't have any news tonight. I'm sure there are news. I don't have anybody tonight, and I did not have time to look any up myself. It was a bit of a busy day at work. The only thing I know offhand is apparently the FCC is having some issues with their new call sign fee database system. So I definitely recommend, if you are interested, checking that out on the ARRL site. You can find it on their news tab. Especially relevant if you are trying to get a new call sign, or I think it's mostly just new call signs. I think anything that doesn't involve a fee is still working just fine, but based on the new rules and fee process, if your license change requires a fee, there might be some additional delays. So just a heads up on that. Does anybody else have any news they'd like to throw in here before we move on to club announcements and the Foxhunt update later on?
TXR.
Go ahead, Timmy. You got some juicy news for us?
Well, a tad bit of news, and club announcements too, but I've got to go in and warm something up before I can go to the shed, so want to get this in while I could. We were talking about, let me let it drop, replacing the coax at the 775 with some half-inch, but we have found some 7/8 inch local. So with the same amount of money that the club set aside for this project, we can still do it, but we're going to do it with 7/8. We're just going to replace the 7/8 that we have up there and get a couple of connectors and some tubing, some shrink tubing, and it will be back up to snuff and running at full low loss as it was before. So I wanted to let everybody know about that. If they had any questions, you can get a hold of Chris, KB5PX, with any technical questions about that. And the second little piece of news was, when he said vestigial, it reminded me of a distant cousin that had a vestigial tail. N5TXR, back to net control.
Well, thank you, Sammy. I'm glad to hear that we're getting, basically a free upgrade on that coax. And so looking forward to that looking forward to that happening. Hopefully it being local means that we don't have to deal with shipping delays. I'm sure we're also saving a good bit of money on shipping fees for that, instead of getting that half-inch stuff even. Great, well, appreciate your news and nuggets. Rusty, WZ5BBS, you want to go ahead and do some club announcements and your trivia update?
Sure thing, man. So for those of you new tuning in, we have a trivia net right here every Friday at 9 p.m. Last week we had 15 players hanging out with us. The number one spot was Kent, KI5RBT. Steve, KI5HWD, came in second, and Ernesto, KI5TZN, he was number 3. So congrats to the 3 of you. The elimination round was super fun. Nick, NM5NU, and Scott, KI5OVD, made it all the way to question number 10, and they both got it wrong. So they made it to level number 9. So congrats to Nick and Scott. That was a lot of fun, and it was the longest one we've done in quite a while. As far as the overall TriviaNet player rankings go, Kent, KI5RBT, is still the man to beat, number 1 spot. Adam, N5YHF, is in second, and David, N6DBX, is coming in third. Anybody can play. All you need is a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer. We got the bingo turned on at 8:30, so you have something to do while you're waiting for the net to begin. I'll throw all the details and a link in the Thursday Night Net Discord channel. And to check out player rankings, stats, net logs, or for any information about the Friday Night TriviaNet, you can head over to n5oak.org and click on the TriviaNet tab, and it will tell you everything you need to know. As far as official club business, we're up to 423 members. Our newest member is Young, KI5TIA, David, KG5U, Bravo, and James, KI5UX. So if you see them in the Discord or hanging out on the repeater, make sure you say hi. The next thing I got is Fox Hunts, but something tells me you've got that summed up here, so I will let you deal with all that. And the other thing is the new DMR Soundcheck Net, and it's on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. For all the details, you can check us out on the calendar at n5oak.org, and you can check in on this thing for All-Star, EchoLink, Hamshack Hotline, DMR, both flavors, D-Star, NXDN, P25, WiresX, YSF, the whole bit. So if you have a digital mode that you want to test out or a hotspot that you haven't used, the DMR Soundcheck Net's a great place to do it. While you're over there, you can also subscribe to the official club calendar. That way you stay up to date on everything. You can add your birthday. That way we can say happy birthday to you. And we've added some new photos and stuff into the galleries, so go check that out. That's about all we got here. We'll send it back to Net Control. Thanks for doing the net, Jeffrey. WZ5BBS.
Thank you so much, Rusty. And I appreciate you going into a little more detail on that GMR soundcheck net. I'm going to hopefully give it some justice when I do the net wrap-up later on and discuss all of our other nets towards the end of the wrap-up. But I appreciate you throwing out the extra details then again. As for fox hunt updates, we did not have one last weekend. I took the weekend off. I was out of town. And the week before that, we had a double. I think it was the week before that. We had a double. I don't know. We've had a double and then Kent's right afterwards. So we've had a couple recently. So we took last weekend off. We've got one going this weekend for sure. Tomorrow, I say for sure, as long as I can remember to charge the battery at work tomorrow. I will be putting one out tomorrow around 5 p.m. Again, assuming work is not as crazy as it was today. I will keep the Discord channel updated, but expected deployment time is 5 p.m. I'm hoping to put it somewhere downtown so that you guys can enjoy all of those beautiful reflections. I know that Rick loves those reflections of the downtown building, and I know that he's not listening tonight. But it's going to be a good one. Ernesto has once again graciously lent me his fox hunt transmitter device, and I'm looking forward to putting it somewhere nice and fun. And I heard Rusty is going to go look for it this time, and so I'm hoping it to be just hard enough for it to be fun for Rusty. It will be transmitting on 146.565 on FM. The transmitter that we'll be using is, I think, about 15 milliwatts. And again, it'll be going out tomorrow around 5 p.m. And I plan to leave it out all weekend up until maybe 8 o'clock on Sunday or maybe early Monday. I tend to always say that I'm going to grab it on Sunday and then don't want to go out on a Sunday night and just decide to get it after work on Monday. So we'll see. If you have any questions about fox hunts or the club announcements, feel free to jump in here after me and give me a call sign. But I also recommend you jump into our Discord server. A lot of learning to be had about fox hunts in there. But if you do have questions that can be answered over the radio, go ahead and give me a name and call sign now. All right, well, nothing heard. I'd like to remind you all that you are listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. My name is Jeffrey, call sign KI5MVF. I am the net control for tonight. We just finished with news and club announcements and updates, and we did some exam questions, and before that was a short time check-in. So, pending anything else, I don't think there is anything else, we are moving on to regular check-ins. This is a great time for you guys to come in and chat about what you've been doing in the radio hobby or your other hobbies. We love to hear about all of it. Basically, if your hobby involves spending money, I think we're all pretty interested based on the other hobbies I've heard about. So come in here, tell us about it, and then we'll open the floor and let anybody come in and chat with you about whatever you've said. The recommended way to check in is to key up the repeater, say this is, unkey the repeater, or that is, stop pressing the PTT button. Listen for a moment. Make sure you're not doubling with anybody. Doubling is when you're transmitting at the same time as somebody else. So, say this is, unkey, pending you don't hear anything, come in with your call sign and your name, and we'll get you in the log. We'll run down for a little bit, see who all checks in, and then I'll run down that list and check in with everybody that checked in. So, without further ado, if you'd like to check in to the Thursday Night Net, go ahead and give me a name and call sign.
K5 Tango Radio, George.
This is November 5, Sierra, Mike, Oscar, Phil.
This is AG5SJ, Micah, no traffic.
This is Kilo India 5, Kilo X-Ray Hotel, Mike, North Austin, no traffic.
All right. Anybody else want to check in for this first round of regular check-ins? Give me a name and call sign.
Oh,
WZ5BBS.
Anyone else? All right. We'll start here. We'll open it up for more people to check in later. But for now, we'll start with this first round. K5TR, George, how's it going? What's going on in your world?
KI5MVF and the net K5TR. Not much going on. Been mainly working this weekend. Even though been working in my ham shack this week, I haven't really been doing any radio stuff at all. Mainly been working and trying to do some cleanup around here, but hopefully I'll get on the radio in the next couple of days. I hear the bands have been okay a few times, so try to fire things up. That's about it. I did spend some money on ham radio things this week, so I guess I have that to look forward to in the coming days or weeks or whenever some of that stuff shows up. So I can report more then, I guess. KI5MVF on the net, K5TR.
George, I have no idea how you can be productive in your ham shack and not be distracted by radios. I don't have that self-control, especially in what your ham shack looks like. I don't know how you have space to get work that isn't radio stuff done, but glad to hear nothing crazy is going on, and excited to hear about new stuff on the way. While I've got you, I am curious. I heard that you maybe have been dealing with some more frustrations on that 250 duplexer, and that you were threatening to just make it 2 antennas, which I think I've heard you feel pretty passionately about previously, a two antenna repeater setup versus using duplexers. Feels like this is just kind of adding on to your argument.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've run it as a 2 antenna thing before, but the problem was the transmit antenna was only like at 20 feet off the ground or something, 15 feet, so it wasn't so great. And I'm not there yet, but you know, it is a possibility. It wouldn't be too hard to pull that off. I would just have to find an antenna. I mean, I've got a 2-meter antenna I could use, but big and bulky, and I'd have to go figure out how to mount it. But yeah, I think about that. The duplexer I haven't had a chance to retune it, and I left my VNA in Austin, so maybe I'll grab that tomorrow and try to work on that this weekend. It's not as bad as it's been in the past. It actually is putting out some power. I don't know what it looks like on the other side of the duplexer, but on the input side, I can see that it's putting out power. There've been times in the past when it's been really terrible, and only a watt or two was coming out of the radio because it's folding back because of the SWR. The SWR is pretty high, but it's not totally infinite at the moment. I looked at it a while ago, but yeah, unfortunately it drifted off pretty much within a week of it being tuned up, or a week and a half. Anyway, so more work to be done.
Well, if you ever need help climbing one of those towers, especially if it's in relation to the club repeater, I'm definitely happy to volunteer and come help out. You can always ask for help. I'm sure you know that. Well, glad it's still working somewhat, but I see your frustrations in it drifting off again in less than a week. Would anybody else like to come in here and chat with George and talk to him about what's been going on?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Go ahead, Anderson.
And it's kind of a silly question, George, but I was kind of looking for some photos of your current setup, and I looked at your website and your QRZ. Where do you keep your most up-to-date photos? Because those are a little old, the ones I found.
So the QRZ page has, I guess, the most up-to-date photos for the most part. So my web page needs a lot of work, and those pictures are much older. But you are correct. But the QRZ page is fairly up to date. I think all those pictures I added them in the last year or two. So there hasn't really been much change here. And I think I have the rotating tower. I think I added that to the QRZ page. I guess I should go look and make sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I do see one big tower there with many antennas stacked on top, and it looks like it rotates.
Yeah,
Anderson.
so those are, like I said, this has all been updated. I mean, I put that tower up almost exactly a year ago, so this is the most up to date.
All right, cool. That was all I wanted to know. Back to you, Jeff.
Anderson, if you really want to take a look, all you really got to do is drive down Ranch Road 3232. Just tell them you're going out to Pedernales Falls and just happen to look to your left, and you will get a decent view. Additionally, if you come out to Summer Field Day, I don't know if George is going to open it up this time, but last time, because we're right down the street from him, for Summer Field Day, he was kind enough to let some of us come over and do a quick tour. That's when I know Rick and I went over, Brant was there, can't remember who else, but yeah, a couple of us went over and George was kind enough to host us and show us around for a little bit. So if you're interested in seeing his station, it's the absolute most up-to-date version of it. I'm sure you can at least take a drive by sometime. But anybody else have anything for George? If so, give me a name and call sign.
Whiskey 5, Whiskey Tango Hotel.
Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, I don't know if George mentioned this, I just jumped on, but he put a rig in his car, and I had my third QSO with him when he was in his car mobile, which it's always a treat for me to do that, and it's always amazing to me that someone can drive down the road and decode Morse code in their head. So anyway, that was exciting for me in my ham radio week, and it involved George. So thanks, George. Appreciate it. Back to Ned.
Yeah, George, doing CW while you drive, that's pretty exciting. Hopefully you're safe about it. Anybody else have anything for George? Give me a name and call sign, please. All right, K5TR George, it was great chatting with you. We're going to move on down the list to Bill, N5SMO. How's it going this evening, sir?
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for running the net. It's going well. I'm just enjoying a week off from work and took the opportunity to put in a couple more raised garden beds in my backyard, so I've got almost double the vegetable growing capacity that I had last year, and just need to hook up the drip irrigation to it in the next couple of days, and I'll be done, and hopefully I'll be set for the summer with more veggies than last time. And excuse me. Been playing on the radio a little bit, chasing the gray line in the mornings and the evenings, and stalking 10 meters and making a few QSOs here and there. So it's been a good week, but that's it for me. Back to you, Jeff, and the net from N5SMO.
Yeah, you mentioned 10 meters. I saw somebody talking on Discord that sometime this week, 10 meters was going off pretty well. I think it was you, and I think it was in the morning. So I could be wrong, but it seems to add up in my memory and what you were just telling us. A week off and doing some gardening and some radio sounds like a pretty great time to me. So glad to hear it's going well. Anybody want to come on and talk to Bill about his gardening or his radio doings? Give me a name and call sign. All right, nothing heard. Thanks for joining us tonight, Bill. Next on my list was AG5SJ, Micah, no traffic. And KI5KXH, no traffic. After them, we're back to Anderson, KI5NLK. How you doing, Anderson?
Hey there, KI5MVF. I'm doing pretty good. KI5NLK. I guess I should ID. I was all busy last week, and so I didn't get to do a whole lot of radio stuff. But I'm back now, so I'll annoy the repeater a little bit and maybe get on and do some simplex and stuff like that. But yeah, not a whole lot of radio stuff to add to anything. I picked up some just little junk hardware and stuff. There's one power supply I posted to Discord, but it's the heaviest thing I've ever seen, and it just feels like quality. It's something called Astron, which I think is a decent brand, but it's almost too big for my desk. I feel like my desk will crack. But yeah, that was the only cool find I had down there. Back to you, Jeff.
Yeah, I think Astron's one of the big name brands that people would go to for. You said it was a power supply. Where did you say you got it?
Well, I was all shut down an office that's been there for a while in the kind of the Houston area, and survey guys use these 12-volt charging stations for a lot of their little robot type stuff and their survey controllers and all that. And I guess they had one. They just bought a nice big power supply, so it was just sitting down there. And I tested it. It puts out a good 14 volts or whatever it is. So it seems like it works okay. It's got a nice hum to it.
Well, that's a cool workplace find. Yeah, and those things are huge. I think I've seen Rick's was an Astron. There's other MFJ or Astron are all the ones that I think I've seen. I think there's obviously more. I'm not well versed in HF power supplies. I run a modified server power supply, as recommended by Ray. But yeah, those things are big, bulky, and heavy. But it sounds like a good find for you. I had one more thing to tell you about. Oh yeah, I ordered an antenna on Amazon. It's a little loop antenna, and it looks a lot like the one you built, but smaller. And it was $20 on Amazon, and I just had to order it because I was like, all right, let's see if this does anything fox hunting related. It does look transmit capable compared to the ones that I've built, and so I thought I'd tell you that. I might post a link over here into Foxhunt later, but link will be coming with a grain of salt, as I've not received it, nor tested it, or read any reviews on it. I just saw $20 HT loop antenna and decided it was worth a shot. But glad to have you in here tonight. Would anybody like to come in here and chat with Anderson, KI5NLK? If so, please give me a name and call sign.
BBS.
Oh, Mr. Rusty, go ahead.
So since you weren't playing a whole lot of radio this week, are you going to be fox hunting this weekend, man?
I jumped in right as I heard somebody talking about fox hunt stuff, so I haven't even really looked yet to see what's out there, but I don't know how much time I'll have this weekend. I got a fish fry on Sunday and a charity clay shoot on Saturday, but I'm almost certain I can find some time in there.
All right, well, just checking to see. Holla at you later, man. WZ5BBS is back to net control.
Thank you, Rusty. I knew I forgot something. Yeah, Anderson, I'm hosting a fox hunt this weekend. So, same way that I challenged Rusty, I challenge you to go find it. Also, you never responded to my DM a long time ago. I sent you the file of trying to use that SDR app that you recommended, and I never got a good map made, and I've stopped messing with it since then. I got all my GPS stuff figured out, but yeah, I recommend you go find it. It's going to be a good one. Hosted by me, so of course it's great. Anybody else have anything for Anderson? If so, give me a name and call sign, please. Nothing heard. Thanks for joining us tonight, Anderson. On the first round, even. We'll move right on down to Rusty, WZ5BBS. How's it going, Rusty?
It has been very boring on the radio front. I have been kind of head down mode this week, so I forgot to chat with Anderson on like early Slacker chats. But yeah, the afternoon Slacker chats I've been kind of missing on for the most part. So, you know, nothing really big to report. I am kind of jealous. I didn't see about this Southside Simplex crossband thing Kyle set up. So for those of you that don't normally play with Southside Simplex, Kyle has set up this crossbanding repeater. So if you go to 445.95 with a tone of 97.4, it'll crossband you into 146.555. Now, I don't think this is set up all the time. I think it's just a Tuesday night only thing. But I'm kind of looking forward to checking it out and see if it works, or, you know, seeing how well it works from my house, since he's kind of halfway between me and the South. So that's about all I got radio-wise, and looking forward to the Trivia Net tomorrow. So that's about it. Back to net control.
When you say early Slacker chats, and for those of you that don't know, Slacker chat is just in reference to the fact that for the past couple of weeks now, a couple of us have found our ways out of work or away from work, distracted from work, around 3 o'clock, and somehow miraculously all chatting on the radio rather than being as productive as we could be. Not the Slacker chat. When you say an early Slacker chat, you mean like in the morning? You wake up early in the morning enough to get on the radio and chat with Anderson on his way into work?
Oh, Oh, Lord, no. Now you're just talking all kinds of nonsense. I think Anderson's at work by like 7. That's just ridiculous. No, I was a little earlier, like he was on for lunch, like, you know, ever so often he's on road trips. It really just kind of depends on Anderson for the most part. So whenever he's out and about and running his errands, whether to and from home or, well, actually just to home, because so no, not early. We're talking noon early. That's as early as we're talking.
Oh, okay. That makes way more sense. Just got to start slacking off sooner. It doesn't count as a slacker net, or a slacker chat, not bad, if you are slacking off before you even get to work. Anderson, I know that he's done some APRS stuff in the past, but he needs to set up APRS, and we need to set up a Discord notification for when he's mobile and the slacker chat has begun. Be pretty handy. So, Anderson, let us know if we can make that happen. Thanks for checking in, Rusty. I'm going to open the floor. If anybody would like to come in here and chat with Rusty about all this nonsense that we've been talking about, give me a name and call sign.
AI5 UKF, Steve.
Go ahead, Steve. What you got?
Hey, Rusty, could you run that frequency again on the simplex south side that has the repeater or whatever it is, cross chat? I didn't have my notepad out to get that, and it kind of sounds interesting, and I didn't know if that was something that I could hit from over here in Dripping Springs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry about that. It is hiding in the announcements channel on Discord. For those of you that are in our Discord and want to play along, you can go check out the announcements. If you're not on Discord, here it is. It is 445.95, and it's got a tone of 97.4. So that's 445.95 with a tone of 97.4. That is cross-banded over to the 146.555. I will tell you from Dripping Springs, it might be a little bit of a haul, but I mean, you never know until you try it out, man. So give it a whirl and see what happens.
Thank you, Rusty.
Yeah, Steve, I'll tell you too, if you haven't given it a shot yet, Dripping Springs isn't really that far from South Austin. It's closer than I would think Kyle's crossband repeater is. So if you can make it to Kyle's crossband repeater, you probably can just jump in Southside Simplex direct via Simplex. We're usually on 146.555. I think I said 5 3 times. 146.555. It looks like 3 S's for Southside Simplex. We've got a couple people that joined from Mountain Driftwood, and we've got Kyle jumping in there before, and we've got Kyle the City, not Kyle the person, though he has also jumped in. Kyle the City, we've got Wimberley jumping in there, and then occasionally we do get some North Austin stations in there. So if you're in Driftwood, I would, again, if you haven't tried, I would say just see if you can get in there direct. But if you have tried to no success, then, I mean, yeah, maybe you can give this a shot. It's usually a good time and worth the effort, though. Anybody else have anything for Rusty? Give me a name and call sign, please.
MWA.
Was that K5MWA? Let me tell you earlier, you said MWA. You got cut off a little bit, and it took me a second to remember the first part of your call sign. But go ahead, Mike. What you got for Rusty?
Rusty, I was just going to say that on that cross, when we were on Tuesday night for Simplex, we had a
Mike, I'm gonna guess you're coming in on the HT, or maybe you're on the wrong antenna, but you are not holding the repeater open at all. You want to try and make that transmission one more time, maybe in a better spot or a different radio?
Yeah, let me just change radios. I was in the kitchen cooking on the HT, and that's the trick, cooking on an HT. Yeah, we had a fella pop in on Tuesday night for Simplex, and it was his very first contact, and he was coming in over the crossband. He was flipping through, found it, and said, "Hey, I wonder what this is." So knew him that had gotten his license, I don't know, last year, but it was because of drones. He was doing drone stuff, so he said, I think I'll get a radio and start playing around. So that was a nice one. It's K5 Mike Whiskey Alpha.
Well, very cool, man. Yeah, no, I just saw that Ray put it in the announcement, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. Nice to know it works.
NDS.
Go ahead, NDS.
Where is the crossband repeater located?
Well, if that was to me, I have no idea, but I'm assuming it's at Kyle's QTH, but that is totally my assumption. It might be at UT, so I'm not 100% sure, Rod.
Yeah, Roger. Thanks.
Yeah, Rod, I don't know the specific location of where that one's at either. As Rusty and Ray both had mentioned, it is hosted by Kyle, so big shout out to him for setting that up. But similar to what Rusty would assume, I would also assume that it's just at his UTH. I don't think it's anything like up at UT or anything, so that maybe could be fun. But maybe a shot for you. Anybody else have anything for Rusty? WZ5VBS. If so, give me your name and call sign.
N5ZOT, Norman.
Your audio was really low, but go ahead and tell us what you got for Rusty, but maybe give me that name and call sign one more time, just a little bit louder, and then tell us what you got for Rusty.
Norman. I was actually the person who checked in on the crossband repeater the other day. Kyle gave me the information on how to access this one too. I think I'm going through the same system, although over a different frequency. He did say that the antenna was located here in Crestview, which is where I'm at, so north central Austin. If anybody has any more questions about it, I'd be happy to let you know what I talked to him about.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to hear that it worked out for you, and we're excited to have you in here chatting with us tonight. If you want to, we're about to open up the floor for regular check-ins, so you can check in there, and we can all chat with you there. But glad to have you in here. Anybody else have anything for Rusty?
I got a quick question for NDS, if you'll let me.
Go ahead, Rusty.
All right, Rod, I'm dying to know, what'd you have for dessert tonight?
Apple pie, buddy. 2 pieces of it.
I love you, Rod. That is amazing. This man eats dessert every night. That's fantastic. All right, well, cheers to you, man. Cheers to you. All right, Jeffrey, I got enough. Back to net control.
The 2 pieces of pie explains why Rod is so quiet tonight. Rod, your audio is kind of low, but maybe it's because you're full from that apple pie and can't reach the mic. But, all right, thank you, Rusty. I'm going to go ahead and remind everybody, if you're just joining us, that this is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. My name is Jeffrey, KI5MVF. I'm the net controller tonight. This is the controlled net. We are just wrapping up our first round of regular check-ins. So we're about to open up the floor for our second round of regular check-in. So yeah, if you want to check in, go ahead and give me your name and call sign. And we'll get you in the log here and come back around and chat with you.
This is KI5UKF, Steve.
I got KI5UKF, Steve. Anybody else? Go ahead and give me a name and call sign. You guys can just rattle them off to me, and I'll try my best to keep up.
This is Alpha Charlie 5 Golf.
All right, we had a double there with Mike K5MWA, and I heard a Charlie Golf Station. If you give me your name and call sign one more time, there was a double, so I missed you. Give it to me again, please.
That's Alpha Charlie 5 Golf, Philip.
Awesome, thank you, Philip. Anybody else want to check in on this second round of regular check-ins? Short list so far, so I'm going to call one more time for this second round of regular check-ins. Go ahead and give me your name and call sign, and we'll get you in for the second round of check-ins on the Thursday Night Net. All right, nothing heard. I'm going to run through these three, so it won't be very long before we're calling for a third round of regular check-ins. I've heard a couple stations in here tonight chatting with everybody else that hasn't checked in yet, so we'd love to have you officially in the logbook. But until then, I'm going to start back at the top of these three with Steve, KI5UKF. I believe I've got that right. How's it going, Steve?
Thank you, Net Control. Yes, that is correct. Kilo India 5, uniform Kilo Foxtrot. Happy to be part of the group. About 3 weeks licensed as a technician now. Rusty was actually my very first contact. Just hitting this repeater, and he picked up, and that was my first chat. Mostly got involved in the hobby for the UHF, VHF. I really became fascinated over the past couple of weeks with HF. I didn't want to spend a lot of money, but I found an ICOM 730, very, very old machine for really, really cheap. It's on its way now. I was curious as to whether anyone out there had any recommendations. I'm maybe down to 20 meters or up to 20 meters. I'm just curious as to whether anybody had any experience in this geographic area with antennas that wouldn't break the bank. I'm definitely trying to go into that part of the hobby on the cheap side and see what's out there. Unfortunately, I missed out on the beautiful ICOM 7300 that was in our swap net. That got snapped up pretty quickly. I think Curtis was the seller of that. That was a sweet deal for whoever got that. Anyway, back over to you, Net Control. This is KI5UKF.
Well, Steve, we're really glad to have you in here. We love having all these new members join in. It's been great to see all these KI5Us join us. It wasn't that long ago, about a year and 2 months ago that I joined, and it was all the KI5Ms. So that's me, KI5MVF. That was the trend back then, and so now we're on the Us. So glad to have you in here. If anybody has recommendations for Steve in his ICOM 730. That's a 7300 without the extra zero on the end. Probably on the price tag as well. Recommendations on a good HOA-friendly 40-20 meter antenna. He would love to hear your suggestions. So please give me a name and call sign and come give Steve some tips.
5ZL, Scott.
Go ahead. I heard ZL. There was the repeater was IDing over you, but go ahead. What you got?
All right. And call sign again is November 5 Zulu Lima. Scott's the name. I have a 7300. In fact, I am in an HOA. Put up an in-fed, as an END, in-fed wire. There's a couple of good ones out there. You do need a good antenna tuner to go with it. And neat things about these ICOM radios is a lot of them have the auxiliary in, so the antenna tuner matches really well with the radio. ICOM's a solid rig. So yeah, the in-fed antenna, it's low profile. If you have a couple of trees in the backyard, put a couple of clothing things on it and call it a clothesline. Now, I don't have to do that, but it's black, and real thin wire, and no one's even seen it in my yard. Don't know how much real estate you have to do this, but it works all right.
Thank you, Scott. I have seen that option a couple of times out there. It's good to know that somebody in the club has used it successfully with KI5 UKF.
All right, but yeah, I definitely need an antenna tuner. I recommend that anyway on HF. It's pretty handy to have, and again, an SWR meter to go with it. Got to make the shack look like Emmett Brown's laboratory. Anyway, you'll have fun with it. And welcome to amateur radio. It's a fun hobby as you climb the ladder and all that. From Westlake Hills, November 5 Zulu Lima, mobile.
Jeffrey, that was a perfect double.
Oh, my bad. All right, who did I double with?
With me.
All right, come on in. I'm sorry about that. What you got?
I was just going to turn it back over to Ned. I just was finishing up and said, you'll have fun. Welcome to the amateur radio hobby. As you climb the ladder, you never get bored with it. From November 5 Zulu Lima, Westlake Hills, mobile. Back to net control.
All right, thank you, N5 Zulu. I think you said that was Scott. Sorry for doubling with you. Not sure if what I had said made it through to you, Steve. But like I said, we do have another member, Jason. His suffix is MPJ. I can't remember the beginning of it, but I know that he's used it with great success. And so maybe you can make that work. Anybody else have a recommendation or just want to chat with Steve, KI5 UKF? If so, give me a name and call sign, please.
5 NDS.
Go ahead, Rod. Impart some wisdom on us, please.
Well, hi, Steve. Welcome to the hobby. And I purchased a 730 brand new back in the 80s sometime when they just came out. It was ICOM's first digital tuning radio. It only tunes in steps of 100 hertz, but you can work with that easily. As far as antennas, I would recommend putting up a resonant dipole. That is a dipole fed in the center at whatever height you can get it. And I have a friend living close by here who has an indoor antenna in his house, and he's worked all kinds of DX on with low power, 15 watts, etc. So the beauty of a resonant dipole is you don't need a tuner. It matches the 50 ohm output of your radio. They're W5NDS, and good luck with it.
Rod, this is Steve. Thank you very much for that advice. I think that sounds like a really great option, since adding a tuner is another $100 or $200 to the budget. Really just trying to go in very, very cheap and use and pull to see what there is out there. So thank you very much for that. That sounds like a great idea. This is KF5KF. Back over to Net Control.
Yeah, Steve. As you can tell, based on Rod buying one of those radios new, he's been doing this for a while. So I definitely would put some good weight into his recommendation. And then a dipole, I will say, is also pretty easy to build. I've not built one, but I've also never built HF antennas. But the VHF, UHF antennas I have built, I built, sorry, I can't remember where I was going with that. My bad, I got phone notifications and they distracted me. But a dipole is a relatively electrically simple antenna, and so you could, if you're interested in saving some money, you could probably build one rather than buy one. I think that's probably already on your mind, and that's, I think it's a fun part of the hobby. But you could definitely build a dipole and probably get it strung up in your attic or maybe along a fence or something like that, and still stay well within your HOA confinements. I know quite a few people make it work. Anybody else have anything for Steve before we move on? Nothing heard. Again, thank you so much, Steve, for joining in and asking some good questions and being willing to let all of us help you as much as we can. Glad to have you. After that, we've got Mike, Mr. K5MWA. I'm still getting used to your new call sign. Just me off guard. But how's it going, Mike? What you been up to?
Roger that. K5MWA. Yeah, Jeffrey, I am still getting used to my new call sign, too. I catch myself hesitating in there sometimes. I like to pile in on what Rod said there. If you want to start out, Steve, if you want to start out with one band, and build a dipole, say like for 10 meters, that's very short wires, about 8 foot on each side or so. And as you add bands, if you do like I did, build a fan dipole, and you go up to say you want to start working 12 or 15, well, you just add a couple of more wires, and if you choose your colors very carefully, and you have a fence of some kind, you can kind of hide that. I've worked all over with it. In fact, Rod, I didn't get to pipe in this morning much on our little drive time, but I got another from Slovenia last night on 20 meters, and I finally got that TX5N station out of the Austral Islands, and I got them on 10 meters. Anyway, I've got stuff coming off the stove, so I've got to run, but I just thought I'd toss that in. This is K5, Mike Whiskey Alpha. Back to Net Control.
Well, Mike, hopefully you can listen for a second. I mean, run and grab your stuff off the stove, but hopefully you can listen while you're doing that. I think the fan dipole recommendation is a good one, based on my research. I think that if I was going to deploy an HF antenna in my HOA situation, a fan dipole, or just starting as a dipole and with the anticipation of it becoming a fan dipole, would be probably the route that I would go. Just put it up in my attic and do what I can. So a great recommendation there. Anybody have anything else for Mike? Give me a name and call sign, please.
Yeah, fix me a plate, Mike. W5NDS.
Didn't get any of that apple pie, Rod, so...
Well, I worked Barbados on 17 meters this evening, and it was a repeat contact, W5NDS.
Second Slovenia I've gotten this week.
All right. Well, Rod, I was going to tell you just again that your audio is a little bit quiet, so you are hard to hear. Just so you know, I can turn the volume up and hear you, but just a note for you. Normally you sound amazing, so just a note. All right. Anybody else have anything for Mike? If so, give me a name and call sign, please. All right, nothing heard. Mike, thanks so much for checking in again. Love chatting with you. Glad to have you in here. Next on my list is AC5G, Philip. How's it going tonight, Mr. Philip?
Doing very well, Jeffrey. Thanks for running the net and hiding the box. And yeah, I've had a great week. I was the lucky one who snagged that 7300 on the swap net. Picked up a FTN 300D to go along with it, so I feel like I've got my big boy radios now, and it's like a true ham this week. It's been a lot of fun. I'll let it drop for a second. I'm also planning on doing an in-fed half-wave for this 7300. I'm just kind of copying the plans off of the ARRL kit that they've got there, and going to see how that works out, and relying on the internal tuner for now, but we'll see how it goes, and if I have any success with that. That's about all my news. AC5G back to net.
Well, big congratulations on picking up that really great deal on that 7300. If anybody is curious as to what he's talking about, somebody posted, let's see who this was, I think it was Kurt, KT5CT, joined us on Discord and posted up in our SwapNet channel, which is where we tend to do most of our wheeling and dealing of radio and radio-related items. Had IC7300 for a great deal, and Philip jumped on it. Philip, it sounds like you also canceled an FT99-1 order to get it, and so I'm a little bit curious to see in a couple weeks or so after you used it to see if you're happy with that decision. I feel like those two radios are kind of targeted against each other a bunch, and congratulations on the you coming in on, because you're also quiet. And Rod's quiet, and so I'm going to take a guess and say that you guys are both maybe coming in on the 441.775 repeater. Again, that's just a guess, or maybe you're coming in through the UT system, but as Sammy and I were talking about earlier, the 775 does have some receive issues. So I'm just curious if that's what's going on. Otherwise, again, just another note, your audio is just a little bit low.
Yeah, I'm actually coming in on the 325 KA5D's repeater, and this is a new to me radio here, so I'm probably not holding the microphone in the exact right spot yet. So getting a little closer here, and thanks for the signal reports. Good to know.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, your audio is coming through clear. It's just quiet, but coming in through the KA5G system, that does make sense. I've noted it in the past. There's some volume differences there. So maybe we can work with Kyle and Chris about getting those adjusted, but not a big deal. Nothing crazy on your part. But yeah, you're still coming in clear, just quiet, like I said, and I don't think that's your fault. Anybody have anything else, or anything? I guess I haven't opened it up for everybody else. I've just been talking to myself. Anybody have anything for Philip, AC5G? All right. Nothing heard. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We're glad to have you in here. And with that, I'm at the bottom of my list, my short list of the second round of regular check-ins on the Thursday night net. Again, this is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday night net. My name is Jeffrey, KI5MVF. We are opening the floor for the third round of regular check-ins. If you'd like to check in with us, please give me a name and call sign.
Scott, and no traffic, just officially checking in.
All right, Scott, glad to have you in there with no traffic. Anybody else want to check in for the third round of regular check-ins?
This is Kilo India 5, Kilo Sierra Romeo. Short time and no traffic.
5OS, Alpha. In Northwest Austin.
All right, that last station in Northwest Austin, your audio was kind of breaking in and out. I did not get your name or your call sign. You want to go ahead and give that to me one more time, please?
Okay, sure. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is Justin. Call is Alpha India 5 Oscar Sierra, and we're here in Northwest Austin. Hopefully you can hear me a little.
Alpha India 5 Oscar Sierra. You told me the name and I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. I think I've heard you in here before, though. I think you checked in maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah, your audio just seems to be in and out a little bit. You're not coming in on Echo Link or anything, are you? Or maybe in a digital mode to a repeater?
I'm actually right now coming in via the University Link Reflector 55817. And I just realized I could have came in with AllStar. Sorry about that. I just had the radio in my hand and I'm packing to move a few blocks down, so that's it.
Well, no apologies necessary. Like I said, your audio is just being a little weird, but it makes sense if you're coming in over the internet. There's always just a little bit of fuzziness there sometimes. But we're glad to have you in here. Were you no traffic, or do you want to stay around and chat with people?
I'll listen in for a minute. In fact, yeah, I'll listen for a few minutes, and I don't have any traffic though. Just wanted to kind of come in and say hi, check in, run.
All right. Well, we're glad to have you in here. Appreciate you checking in. And I think you said no traffic. You said no traffic. And so, would anybody else like to check in for this third round of regular check-ins? Please give me a name and call sign now.
N5TXR, how's the audio there, Jeffrey?
I think you're coming in all right. I might be having some audio issues on my end, with as many as I'm having issues with. But you sound all right.
Well, I'm on the porch watching the fireflies. I can stand up, might be a little better. On the mighty 775, which I can't believe that you were dissing in favor of the 325.
I was not dissing anything. I like the 775 a lot. I was saying both tend to have some audio issues lately.
Well, I haven't heard any except for, and I think Rod is on a different radio than normal. He would probably like to be on his VHF radio with his amp, but his amp's not working. And other people, they said they had different radio, but I'm on my HT on the front porch watching the fireflies.
Watching fireflies sounds like a great time to me. Yeah, I mean, the audio does sound fine tonight. I just know that in the past, 775 is, when it's gotten that rain, you know, I mean, there's a reason why we're replacing that coax cable. And so, that's why I was maybe wondering if that's where our issues were. I will say I'm not coming off my big antenna tonight, and so, that's enough to get me to the oak, and that's about it. And so it does introduce a little bit of noise on its own. Just trying to make sure we know what's going on. But, Mr. Sammy, I'm going to open the floor. If anybody wants to come in here and talk to him, please give me a name and call sign.
ABS.
Go ahead, Rusty.
I thought only people from the north call them fireflies. Aren't they called lightning bugs?
I was trying to be politically correct, and I didn't want to hurt nobody's feelings. But yeah, when I was a kid, we called them lightning bugs. So I was trying to be on my best behavior. But I did want to say a big thank you to some of the fellows. Justin used to come in quite a bit. Good to hear him. And Rick, WA4ERS, it was good to hear him. And there was a couple more, but I was starving to death, and I had to cook me something to eat. And I was trying to keep up with everything on HT, and I didn't quite catch everything. But yes, Rusty, when I was a kid, we call them lightning bugs.
Right on, man. I was just checking, because that's what we always called them as kids, too. It's kind of funny to see where people call what things what. Anyway, just had to give you a hard time. Good to have you on the net, man. WZ5BBS, back to net control.
KI5MVF here. I'm also going to go with lightning bug. There's very little G's in there. Anybody else want to talk to Sammy and also maybe let us know whether you call them lightning bugs or fireflies? Give me a name and call sign.
NDS.
I'm going to go ahead and go with NDS, but I'll take note. I heard another station in there. We'll come back to you next. Go ahead, Rod.
I will try to talk up here. Sammy's right. I'm on a handheld here, and I'm in the recliner after 2 pieces of apple pie. So if my audio is a little low, that's why. W5NDS.
Well, I just heard him dissing the 775. I just wanted to make sure that he told them y'all were on 325.
5G Comet.
Go ahead, Philip.
I just wanted to see how I was coming in now. I'm actually getting all the way to the Oak repeater from my house now, something I was never able to do before.
You sound great. Better than you sounded all night. And I'm not joking. Literally sound better. Sammy should know I have no issues with the 7.5 when it's working correctly. I love the 7.75. I use it a lot as I work downtown. I think it sounds even better than 3.20. The only thing that it doesn't have that the 3.20 does is currently a fully intact coax line, and B, the great, mighty coverage of the 3.20. Otherwise, big fan. I knew your audio had to do with those two slices of apple pie. Sitting in a recliner after the apple pie sounds like a great time to me. Anybody else have anything for Sammy? If so, please give me a name and call sign now.
This is Kilo Golf 5 Kilo Victor Juliet, KG5 KVJ, Garrett and Buda.
Oh yeah, Garrett, I'm sorry. I heard you come in earlier around the same time as Rod, and I knew it was you. I heard you say this is, and knew it was you. What you got for Sammy? Go ahead.
Not a whole lot. Sammy, hope you're doing well. Glad to hear you on the net here. And thank you, KF5MBF, for running the net. This is also my check-in too, but Rod, it seems like all you ever eat is sweets, so I wanted to poke some fun there, because every time you pop in, it's like, oh, I had this fantastic sweet treat, and so I'm just curious if like that's your, what you run off of there is just, pie and, fantastic stuff.
NDS.
Go ahead, Rod.
Well, I try to eat my share of sweets, but I indulge in other foods of many kinds, and I discovered a new burger that Whataburger has called the hot and spicy bacon burger, and I ate one for lunch the other day.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make one last call for comments for Sammy before we move on down the list to Garrett and his side-loaded check-in. Glad to have you in there, Garrett. But final call for anything for Sammy.
5MWA.
Go ahead, Mike. I hope it's for Sammy.
Yeah, this is for Sammy. I just want to say, hey, Sammy, and you're sounding better. I don't mean your radio. You sound better, and I just want to let you know we're still thinking about you, and I hope everything's working out for the best there. So, K5MWA, and back to you.
Well, Mike, I did the net last week, and you were nowhere to be found. What's up with that?
Well, sir, I was previously encumbered. I had stuff going on, and I had to cook, and then I had people here, and it was not a good night. So, anyway, that's me.
I even made a special call out to you. I said, I wonder where Mike with attitude is. But thank you for thinking of it. I just came in from visiting with Leslie, and we're trying to work it all out for her rehab and trying to get her hips done, and it's just a ongoing process. But I was trying to thank all the guys that showed up last week and tonight, and thank Jeffrey for running the net again. And thank you, Mike. And back to net control.
Yeah, Mike and Sammy, it was great last week getting to hear Sammy's voice on the repeater again. Not just on the repeater, but running the net. Sammy was running a bunch of the nets when I joined last year, and so as Rusty would put it, it felt like home. But Sammy, it's great to have you in here. It's great to have you run the net last week, and appreciate you checking in and always with the kind words. So we're going to move on down the list to Garrett, KG5KVJ. I got it right. I know I did. How's it going, Garrett? How you doing tonight?
KG5KVJ, appreciate you putting the extra effort in there and getting the call sign right. Not a whole lot of people do that. Just focus some fun around there, but not a whole lot super exciting. I was caught in a conversation with my brother, which is what stopped me from checking in earlier, but appreciate y'all accommodating, but I don't have a whole lot. Life's fantastic, and I want to say thanks. Thanks for running that, to Jeffrey, KG5KVJ, back to net.
Garrett, I am curious. I think you kind of made it sound like you were done with the generator project-wise, and you wrapped it up and you feel good about where it's at. A, is that an accurate assessment of the case? And B, if so, do you have another project in mind, like that you're kind of leaning towards? You going to try and sneak another one in before
the auto parts store and buy the right fitting for it, but it's just the fuel drain line, and that's about it. No, the generator is functional. It runs. It starts up every time. And I just got the hood for the John Deere 110 in, so I painted that during Southside Simplex, and that thing looks fantastic, a piece of equipment. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, but I'm sure I'll find something soon enough. I think the wife wants a new water heater because she complains that the water is not hot enough, as she demands that she likes long, hot showers.
I can relate to the running mental list of projects, so I feel you there. I also can relate to the one last little item, one project, and being like, I'll get to it. But, alright, anybody want to come in here and chat with Garrett about all of his projects, and maybe any other comments for Garrett? Give me a name and call sign. Alright, nothing heard. Thanks for joining us tonight, Garrett. Glad to have you in there. Just a reminder for everybody that this is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. I wrapped up the third round of regular check-ins, so I'm going to give a final call for regular check-ins. If you'd like to come in and check in, now's your last chance. After that, we'll do a net wrap-up and call it a night. So if you'd like to check in, please give me a name and call sign now.
This is Kilo India 5 Uniform Papa Hotel. The name is Chase, as in Chase Bank. I'm in Newham. Only had my license about 3 weeks or so, and I think this is maybe the second time I've heard you guys, so just appreciate it and learn a little bit every day.
Alright, thanks for checking in, Chase. I'll come back to you in just a second and see if there's anybody else that would like to check in on this last call for a regular check-in.
Kilo India 5, Bravo Alpha Tango, Bob in Round Rock, no traffic.
Alright, I've got KI5BAT, no traffic. Anybody else? Final call for regular check-in. All right, nothing heard. Last one for the night is going to be KI5 Uniform Papa Hotel. Chase, we're glad to have you in here, and all these new people checking in. So we're glad to have you. You're certainly not our only one. So you are in good company. And if this is your second time hearing us, we're glad that you came back. If you stick around towards the end, I'll go down all of our other nets that we have over the course of the week. We have quite a few. You can also find more information about it.
Basically, EV5R, I think it's the BFCH88, something like that. A little bit bigger battery. Supposed to have 8 watts of power, but when I read, it really goes up to about 6 or so. So just got a little handheld, but I am searching/shopping for a mobile, and actually, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to head up to my hometown where my dad is, a little town called New Boston near Texarkana. He's an old ham. I grew up with him building Heathkit stuff, so he's got a couple 2-meter rigs. He's going to give me a CW deal, so hopefully going to get some old stuff working and get some new stuff in the vehicle.
Yeah, that's awesome to be at Baofeng. When I first joined last year, it was just on the Baofeng, and now I have way too many mobile units. I have 1 mobile unit in my van, and then I have, I think I'm looking at 7 mobile units, 8 is another one, all of various uses. Got some 440 machines, some 220 machines, a 900 machine, a radio that doesn't even work, and the dual band and the quad band, and there's always more radios to buy. So I think you're on the right path, though. Glad to have you in here. Does anybody else have anything for Chase, KI5 UPH? Give me a name and call sign, please.
This is KI5UBA. Sorry I didn't check in. I'd like to make a comment. Oh, I just lost.
All right, I got KI5UBA with a comment. Just note your dead keying there towards the end. Your radio was transmitting still, and we got some parakeets in the background. But go ahead with your comment for KI5UPH Chase. I've got you in here checked in as well, but go ahead with your comment.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm on Echolink, and so I have a problem at my keyboard. My spacebar isn't toggling transmit off. That's why I was still transmitting, and I had to go up to the menu and click it off. But I was going to comment that I have a Baofeng GT-5R, which was a version of the radio that they restricted the transmit to ham frequencies only, the 2-meter and the 70 centimeter. And I've used it quite a few times, and it seems to work okay. You know, I've talked to a couple people on it, and I just recently got a J-pole antenna that I fabbed up and hooked up to it, and I was able to do a pretty good job getting into the 146.64 repeater up here in Williamson County. I'm in Hutto. So, yeah, this is, you know, I would say a lot of people put the Baofengs down, but, you know, if you're on a budget, they can do the job. This is KI5UBA, back to net control.
There's a lot of dead air there, N5TXR. I guess Jeffrey had an issue or something. Rod, are you still listening?
Sammy, were we doubling, or did you not hear me?
Didn't hear you for quite a while, or I didn't anyway.
Hey, Rusty, are you still with us?
Yeah, it's exactly the same problem we've been having with AllStar, and that's exactly where
I wonder, I was falling asleep in my chair on the front porch because I didn't hear Jeffrey no more.
Well, you can hear me now? I guess we're back in business. I'm going to keep clicking the key until I know you're not doubling over me. But we had just talked to KI5UBA. He was giving us some positive comments about his Baofeng experience to Chase, and Chase is on a Baofeng tonight. Both of these guys are new and new to the club, new to ham radios, or at least new licensees, Chase being second generation. But I was opening up the floor for further comments for Chase, KI5UPH, before I move on down to KI5UVA. So if you've got any more comments for Chase, please give me a name and call sign now. All right, nothing heard. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Chase. Glad to have you, and look forward to hearing you on more of our nets. Like I said, stick around towards the end, and I'll run through all of our other nets that we have during the week. But if you don't have the time, go check out n50ak.org, and you'll see all of them on the calendar page. I'm going to move on down to KI5UBA. I appreciate you officially checking in. You've given us some good comments tonight, and we're glad to hear you in here and have you on the list. Is there anything else you want to throw in there for us tonight before we open the floor for comments to you?
Well, thanks. It's good to be on. This is KI5, Uniform Bravo Alpha. Yes, unfortunately, I couldn't go out and try to get my antenna up and try to get into this repeater from way out in Williamson County because, unfortunately, I got a kind of a punch in the side today. I got a kidney stone, and so I've just been kind of sitting here holding my side for a couple of hours. And I heard you guys on, and I go, I'm going to hobble over to the computer and get on there because it's going to make me feel better. But, actually, I heard you mention that Rod was on there. I've talked to Rod a couple times on the 444.1 repeater. So with that, I'll go ahead and give it back to Net Control for any comments.
Man, I'm sorry to hear about those kidney stones, but glad to hear that we can bring you some comfort in your time of pain. Yeah, if you're on the 44.1 talking to Rod, I'm sure you've also heard Mike and Doug. That is Mike, recently K5MWA, and Doug, KG5UNK. They're both pretty active in here and also on that repeater. I've heard them over there myself, especially early in the morning. They love to get on there around 6:30 and chat with each other. But we appreciate you putting in the effort to overcome the pain of that kidney stone to get over the computer and check in with us. Like I said, you've given us some nice comments tonight, and I'd like to open the floor for comments to you. Anybody have comments? Again, I'm sorry I missed your name. Maybe you told it to me and I forgot to write it down. You want to go AI5EVA, you want to go and give me your name real fast?
Yes, the name here is Mike. Mike India Kilo Echo.
Another Mike. That'll be easy to remember. All right. Does anybody have comments for Mike, KI5EVA? If so, please give me your name and call sign now.
5 Mike Whiskey Alpha.
W5NDS.
All right. I'm going to give that one to Mike, K5NWA. I heard him first, and then we'll come back to Rod. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, they're Mike. I forget it. UVH, I think it is. Hang in there with that kidney stone, man. I've dealt with those all my adult life, and yeah, you'll get over it. I don't know if this is your first or not, but the first is usually the worst. So anyway, I'll turn it back to Ned.
All right. Yeah, Mike, that was a Uniform Bravo Alpha for Mike and Uniform Papa Hotel for Chase. But I can see if I'm saying them fast, UBA and UPH sounds pretty similar over the radio, I'm sure. But we're currently talking to KI5 Uniform Bravo Alpha, and that's Mike. But Rod, not WZ, W5 NDS. Go ahead with your comment.
Okay, well, good evening, Mike. Nice to hear you on this net here. And for Jeffrey's benefit, over on 444.1, that's Michael, WA5AZQ. Not to be confused with Mike. And I'm on the mighty 775 now in Studio B, so I should have 100% audibility. And Mike, sorry about your kidney stone. Been there, done that. Luckily I had only one, and I hope it'll be the same for you. So W5NDS, back to net.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Rod's only had one kidney stone, and that's even with eating cookies and apple pie. So, take note. Appreciate you coming in there, Rod. All right, any other comments for Mike, KI5 Uniform Bravo Alpha?
Chief.
I heard a K, maybe a C. You cut off before you got your whole call sign out.
KI5KAT.
Steven, KI5KAT. Go ahead. What you got for Mike?
Been there, done that. It's pretty awful. Had to drive myself to the hospital. Hang in there. Take it easy. KI5KAT.
Mike, if you want to, kind of as a blanket statement, if you want to go ahead and respond, I feel like everybody's giving you some encouraging words. And a couple of them asked if it's your first one, but feel free to jump back in here and respond to them if you want.
This is KI5 Uniform Bravo Alpha. Yes, this is my first one, so, hey, new experiences in life all the time. But, I'm sure I appreciate it. The ham community is an awesome community, and they always give their fellow hams a lot of support on whatever's going on, whether it's radio related or not. I really appreciate that very much. So this is KI5 Uniform Bravo Alpha, back to net control.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Final call for comments for Mike, KI5 Uniform Bravo Alpha. All right, nothing heard. So we're going to call this, we're going to call that one the final check-in. That would be number 26. I think that's counting Rusty twice, so maybe 25. Call that 25 check-ins, if you count myself as well. Count 26 if you want to count Rod, even though he never officially checked in. So we'll call it 26. This was the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday night net. We're here every night, or every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Not every night, just Thursday night. For the Thursday night net. We do have a lot of other nets that happen throughout the week. So we'll start from the top of Monday. Monday at 8 p.m. we have a 6-meter Monday net hosted by us. You can find the details for that on our website or on the Discord. But I know that they do sideband and FM and maybe some digital modes and SSTV stuff. So Rick, I think, tends to be the spearhead on that one. Rick, AI5A, he's not with us tonight, but he loves him some 6-meter, especially on Mondays. Then on Tuesday, we've got 2 nets that both start around 8 p.m. One is my preferred one, mostly because it's easier for me to get into, is the Southside Simplex. They kind of started as just the South Austin area Simplex chat. It's been referenced here a couple times tonight. We all get on 146.555 and just talk Simplex. It's a great way to kind of understand and establish kind of how you're getting out there. I know that Ray, K5BZI, he's in the same neighborhood as I, and I could probably talk to him on 15 milliwatts. But I also know that Rusty, WZ5BBS, up in basically South Dallas, i.e. almost, I think he's officially in Cedar Park, him and I can talk Simplex. And so Tuesday night, Southside Simplex is a great way to kind of learn who all you can talk to directly without a repeater. Also, 8 p.m. Tuesday night is the DMR Sound Check Net. It's a great one that we link our DMR repeater into when it has internet. It does not currently have internet, last I heard. But the purpose of that net, being a sound check net, it is hosted by W5JDX and N5ZNO. You can check in via AllStar, EchoLink, Ham Shack Hotline, DMR, Brandmeister, and TDIF, D-Star, NXDN, P25, WiresX, and ASUS System Fusion. In addition, I know that Rick, AI5A, links one of his repeaters in. And so there's many, many ways to get into this net, and they love people that check in multiple times via different modes. And so if you've got WireX, P25, and DMR, you can get free check-ins on the same net. So it's a great way to test out your gear. Moving on to Wednesday at 8 p.m., you've got the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday net. That is hosted usually on the KA5D system from the UT building, one of the UT buildings in the UT club. However, we simulcast it over here to the N5OAK system. And so we definitely recommend you guys join in with them. The purpose of that net is to drive traffic to the UT club and get UT college students interested in amateur radio. Next up, we're back to Thursday night. We actually start at 7:30 p.m. with a CW net on 80 meters. That's hosted by Pat, W5WTH. I think I got his call sign right. Let me double check. Let's see. Yep, W5WTH Pat runs the CWNet at 7:30 on 80 meters. It is in the technician portion of CW, and so anybody can get on. Anybody with an 80-meter CW rig can get on. They do welcome beginners. As long as you can send your call sign, they'd love to have you in there. And then, as most of you, I assume, are familiar, we do have the 8 p.m. Thursday night net every Thursday at 8 p.m. It's a great community net where we all just get in here, and if you've been around for the last 2 hours, you know we kind of chit-chat and catch up with everybody. So it's a good time just to check in on your friends and hear about radio stuff and ask questions. Next up, we've got Friday night. This is the one that starts at 9 p.m. We've got the Friday night Trivia Net, hosted by Rusty WZ5BBS. It is a hybrid net, meaning that while Rusty announces the questions over the net, the game is played on your phone or your tablet or your computer on a website. There's no apps to install or anything to download. Just go to in50ak.org/trivia, or is it trivia or trivia net? Let's see. I'm going to click and see if the website will load. Nope. Just go to in50ak.org and go to the Trivia Net tab. It'll take you there. Like I said, it's a hybrid net. So Rusty's going to ask questions over the radio and general trivia usually. Sometimes there's radio trivia, sometimes there's music. There's different categories, 4 different categories every night, along with an elimination round at the end. It's a lot of fun, and you play the game on your, like I said, on your phone, your tablet, or your computer, and score points. Rusty keeps a log week to week of who scores the most points, and it's a lot of fun and a great way to flex your trivia knowledge. We don't have any other of our own nets on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not currently looking at their page, but the AustinHams.org, that is the Austin Amateur Radio Club, they host quite a few nets on the weekends. I know that they host a swap net and a Elmer net and I believe a 10-meter net. So I definitely recommend you go over to austinhams.org and go to their meetings and local net and info page where you can go see all of their nets. They've also got listed other nets. They've even got our Thursday night net listed in there. So we'd like to give them a shout out as well. Basically, every night of the week, there is something to do radio-wise. And then unofficially, as has been referenced, if you're here on this repeater on the in50AK flagship machine, 320, or any of our connected sister repeaters, the KA5D system will drop off, but if you're on our flagship 320 or in50AK system, we do tend to have a Slacker chat around 3 o'clock. Those of us during the week that like to slack off from work. Ray calls it the road show. I'm usually mobile and driving around when I get to listen to it, so it's also good fun. We recommend anybody that can to hop on the net anytime you can, or on the repeater anytime you can. Sorry about that. But that's all I've got for tonight, so I'm going to call this net closed. Again, thank you everybody for joining us on the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday night net. My name is Jeffrey, KI5MVF, and I was your net control tonight. I hope everybody has a great night.
KG5GYM, just checking in for the numbers.
KG5GYM, I think it's KG5GYM. Mikey, I'm going to guess you're coming in over Echo Link or All-Star. Glad to hear you in there. official number 27. Glad to hear you in there, and hope to hear you next week as well. Again, good night, everybody, and have a great evening.
W5NDS for the number. Checking in.
Rod, I put you in the numbers anyways. You didn't officially check in, but you commented enough. You were basically here, so I was already counting you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. 7-3s and good night, everybody.
KG5GYM N5TXR.
N5 TXR KG5 GYM. Evening, Sammy. How's it happening?
Going all right. Well, I missed you last week. I did the net last week, and we didn't hear from you. I figured you got busy. I think you remember Rod there, W5NDS.
Yeah, I recognize the call. Yeah, I've been doing this weird thing again, you know. I mean, I wake up at 2 in the morning, get up and do stuff until 6, and then that night I think I probably passed out way early.
Yeah, I've been having absolute havoc with my sleep. It's just been crazy, and I think it's because Les is not here, but I don't know. I'll go to bed about 11:30, and I'll wake up at 1:30. Almost every night is 1:30, and can't go back to sleep till about 4:30.
Yeah, I don't sweat it. I just, heck, I'm retired. I don't have to do anything on a schedule, so, if I wake up and don't feel like sleeping, I get up, and lots to do right now, so there you go. Fixing to freeze tonight up here, I think they said, but real quick.
Well, we've had fireflies for the last couple of nights down here. I'm sitting out on the porch. It's about 74, 75. Good little southern breeze blowing.
Yeah, boy, something to be said for prime time in Central Texas in the spring and fall. You got a couple of really sweet weeks.
Yeah, we had rain a couple of days ago, first time in a long time.
All right. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to, I got to see how long that little round plane UHF antenna I got is. I got a room in the attic that's, the house is, I think, 50 feet long, so I can run a 50-foot wire antenna down the length of those rooms that are up there and put up a vertical, I think, and I won't have to mess with the roof, I'm hoping.
It sounds good. Well, the battery's running low on this thing, so I just heard you in there and want to say hello. And 7-3 to everybody, Rod, Mikey, Mike, Jeffrey, Rusty, and everybody else. I'm going to get off of here and get in the house. N5TXR.
See you, Sammy.
Rod, thanks for taking up for the 775. And Jeffrey, after Jeffrey run it down like that.
Was that for me, Sammy? I thought I heard you say Jeffrey. I was looking at my phone.
I was thanking Rod for taking up for the 775 after you run it down all night.
Listen, I, again, have no issues with the 775 when it works. However, as you saw, there was an issue somewhere where apparently it doesn't like the 320 audio and just decides to do its own little stubborn thing.
That's not the repeater. That's the N5A AllStar hub.
I give you that. Like I said, it's one of my favorite repeaters. I love it. But I am greatly looking forward to it being back in tip-top shape.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm just doing that so you'll remember. And you'll never, ever run down the 775 again.
Tell you what, you get that machine fixed. I say you get it fixed. You coordinate it. I'm sure I'll be up there helping. We get that machine fixed, and after that, I'll host the net from here on the 775, and hope it stays audio connected the whole time.
Hey, if you can get into it, it will. All right, man. Thank you so much. 27 is very respectable, and I appreciate it. And we'll check with y'all later, 7-3. M5TXR, going in the house.
73, Sammy, have a good night. Talk to you probably tomorrow. This is going to be KI5 MVF saying 73 and clear. Good night, everybody.